get a PI. And so you just got to get them to understand that, and that the game has changed. And if you're playing for the ball, they're going to let you both play for it. And so that's also why we get a lot of picks, too, because we do get our eyes on the ball.
Now, I know while the game's going on, you're focused on what's going on the field. The turnover glove is behind you, so I don't know if you're seeing what's going on game time. Now, you've watched film, so you probably saw what happened with the turnover glove after the interception. First of all, explain to the fans what is the turnover glove and what happened after the interception the other night.
Did you talk to my wife?
No.
No?
I said hi to her earlier. But
both my wife and Georgia told me that the turnover pole was terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah, so I got to up the game. So we got to get – the problem is when you hit the button, you got to keep it on to make the horn go off and everything else. And so they hit it but didn't leave it on. So I called engineering. They're going to get me a timer. So you just hit it, then it goes off for a certain amount of time. It's just like anything. It didn't work. We got to adapt and adjust. We got to make it better. So
there's always
there's
glitches.
There's going to be a timer. Yeah.
Opening night, there's always glitches at all levels.
I forget the exact words Georgia said when I said, "What'd you think of the Infinity Gauntlet poll?" What'd you say? Pathetic.
Pathetic. All right, I guess
it's tough at the house, man. I mean, like you live a house full of women, man. It's like you can't. It's like, man, that cut deep.
I got two daughters.
That was my poll.
I've got two daughters. I understand how it goes. I really do. You probably didn't see it as it was happening. Fans are loving this thing between the third and fourth quarter with the dancing on the sideline. I mean, the fans absolutely love it. And apparently Dr. Carlos Vargas loves it. The president of the university came down from his suite and was, I'm sure you've seen the video by now, dancing with the players on the sideline. How cool is that? How cool is that?
It's so cool and so authentic, you know. I don't even know how it really started because we used to do the four-finger thing, right? Okay, well, then this song come on, and we were like at practice. And the song come on, I'm like watching everybody's just going berserk. And so it just ended up happening. That's going to be our fourth quarter song, and it just because that's what you want. You want to win the fourth quarters. You want to pump a bunch of energy right before you start the fourth quarter, right? And so you flip it on, and I mean, even in the mock game, people were doing all this stuff, and it's just that's not fake. Like I'm not telling them, hey, get excited, because if I have to tell them that, then we're in trouble. They just were, and that's kind of Carlos and Pam, and they're just authentic people that love the Red Hawks, love the university, and they're not trying to pretend, and they don't really care what you think of them. And just like I heard somebody talk about, hey, that was disrespectful to SIU.
What?
You know, because they thought they were doing about them. It's because they think the world revolves around them. We do it against everybody, first of all, right? And so it has nothing to do with that. Like, this is still, in the game of life, we're in the toy section. We should have fun. These are 18, 19-year-olds. I wish I was like Carlos. I didn't want jumping around. Hell, I was worried about I had all kinds of stuff I was worried about. But we should jump around and enjoy life more.
The big question also is, if you've got teams that have songs, specific songs, it's worked out pretty good in this state. The St. Louis Blues had Gloria, and they won the Stanley Cup. So having your own song, can be a good thing.
Yeah, I'm just worried about, it's a party in the fourth quarter. Hopefully they're not partying later that night. Because I think I got one of those teams that they love to get it on no matter what they do. And so that's, It is what it is.
That's one of the last things, though, as you're talking to your team in the locker room and you're saying, okay, we got practice whenever, the next time you're going to get together. I mean, that's probably one of the last things you say to your football team, right?
Sure.
Let's be responsible.
And that's what's hard, and you just try to get them to – I understand. Like, they basically – like, Zach Hall basically has to give up being a normal college student. He doesn't get that experience because you don't get Friday and Saturday nights. He's a Division I football player, and so it's tough, and they have to choose that every week, And so far this team has done a really good job, and, the normal college student, they don't get Saturday nights, at Houck or at Montana State. And so that's kind of our release and why we make all the decisions we make so that we can have those.
Well, I think a lot of people also wanted to find out whether or not you're still undefeated as far as the Rock and Lock and winning the foot race to midfield. How did that go before the football game?
In my mind, I won it.
Okay.
I feel like there's some stuff out here going on, but you don't focus on your opponent, right? You just focus on your best. And in my sight line, I won.
Okay, so you're still undefeated.
Yes.
Okay.
Had good knee lift. Had good knee lift. Felt like my stride was solid.
I saw that. And, when you're rocking and locking, if you get out quickly, if you do get out of the gate quickly.
You go. Yeah. As you're already started like
because you're the only one that knows when it's time to go.
That's the whole key.
Yeah,
that's the vet move.
That's huge. So with Zach Hall, Coach, what an honor it was to win the Buck Buchanan Award. And for those who don't know, not only did he win the national honor, but they flew him to the national championship game down in Texas. It's in Frisco.
Yeah.
Okay, they flew him to the national championship game. What was that experience like? Because I know you were there. I know the athletic director Brady Barkey was there. I mean, that's a really, really big showcase to kind of showcase just exactly what he had accomplished with your playoff winning football team last year.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes back. You're not going to have a national team without national players. He's our really first true national player, and to be a part of that's just amazing. It's a life memory. But you know what? Even when he leaves 5-10 years from now, that's not what I'll remember. I'll remember he's got a beautiful relationship with this softball girl. I saw him in church last Sunday, and he's a good boyfriend. I mean, I was a terrible boyfriend. I was horrible. I mean, he is a good boyfriend. He is a good teammate. And so all these other things he does well is what everybody sees, but I just appreciate his character, and it's pretty neat, and it's pretty, to have a guy like that from SEMO is really important, and just happy for him, happy for us.
Now the softball team, you mentioned softball.
She's probably tougher than him. First of all, if you watch the softball team, they get it on.
Yeah. Now they passed out their rings during your football game. Did you get a look at the ring, and what did you think? Because you're pretty good at designing rings, because your football team got rings after their playoff run last year.
Yeah, they crushed it. Yeah, they crushed it, and I know the players appreciate that, and just what a great moment for those players.
What kind of feedback did you get on your football ring? And the thing that I thought was so unique, not just the ring itself, that box. Yeah. Where it's got the lighting, it's got the magnet that holds the ring. I've never seen a box like that. That seemed like it made the whole thing more big time.
Yeah, and the people for Jostin still won't call me back. I mean, they're like, hey, they see my number pop up, and they're scattered, because I mean, you got what you could pay for, and so I had to just beat them up. I made it personal, and I offended them. Then I'd call them back and offend them again until the players got the ring and the moment they deserved.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Now, the next ring, we better find some more money or a new company. So it was kind of one and done, I think.
You can use a burner phone the next time you call. You win the OVC championship this year. You just get a burner phone and start from scratch.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to talk with Zach Hall. He's the reigning Buck Buchanan Award winner, the National Defensive Player of the Year in FCS football. Don't forget, Red Hawks are headed to Montana State on Saturday. Zach Hall going to join us at the Red Hawks Coaches Show when we come back. It's the Coaches Show from Wings, etc.
Wings, etc. in Cape and Jackson beg to differ. They take their sports bar status seriously. Wings, etc. is the host of the SEMO Coaches Show every Monday from noon to 1. You can watch SEMO away games at Wings, etc. Plus, get lunch specials and daily specials like 69-cent wings on Monday, 69-cent rib tips on Tuesday, 59-cent shrimp on Wednesday, and 69-cent boneless wings on Thursday. Plus, they've got free Wi-Fi and a full-service bar and craft beer. Wings, etc. The definition of a sports bar.
School is back in session. The shorter days and cooler temps are setting the stage for changes at Imagine That. We are working hard to bring you the latest fall fashions from the brands you know and love, from Southern Shirt Company, Southern Marsh, and Simply Southern. This fall, Imagine That is introducing Old Row and Southernology brands to our
Not after the big win over the Salukis. The Redhawks will be traveling to Montana State, and that is going to be on Saturday, and that will be in Bozeman, Montana. So we certainly hope if you can't make it, you can hear it right here on the Redhawks Radio Network, Real Rock 99.3 FM. And don't forget on Mondays, the award-winning jumbo wings here at Wings Etc., just 69 cents. They've got food and drink specials throughout the week. And, of course, their kids' menu is absolutely phenomenal. Just ask the Matukowicz ladies. I'm sure they really like the kids' menu. I know my kids do. At Wings, they're open 7 days a week. They're open late on the weekends as well because sometimes the games run late. If you want to watch the best sporting events, now that we're into football season, you can watch it all in high def at Wings, not only in the Cape location, but also in the Jackson location. And that's where we'll be next week. We'll be over in Jackson at 12 noon on Monday. And don't forget the daily half-pound lunch specials here at Wings start at just $6.99. Let's welcome in the reigning Buck Buchanan Award winner, Zach Hall, to the show. You had an opportunity to get a little lunch prior to coming up here. What'd you get?
I got 24 boneless barbecue wings.
Okay, straight barbecue, but you went boneless. We were discussing, the differences between actually getting in there and getting your hands all, saucy, or just going with a fork. What are your thoughts?
I knew I was going to be up here, so I had to use the fork today.
Okay, but
usually
so
don't.
Usually it's not the fork, so you broke protocol.
Yeah, I had to.
All right. Hey, how fun was that win over the Salukis on Thursday night?
It was great. Great to see a lot of people show up, and I'm glad we got the dub.
So they're talking about, I'm going to say 8,300, I think they say the attendance, but it was packed in that stadium. What is it like to play in an atmosphere like that? Because not only was it jammed, but on the opposite side of the field from on the Saluki sideline, the students were there. Mm-hmm. How big of a difference do they make in a game like that?
It just brought a lot of energy, and I feel like the team needed it at one point, and we got it from the fans.
Is that a game with SIU? How much trash talking goes on in a football game?
Quite a bit.
Give us a maybe you eavesdropped on a particular conversation. How does it go? Is it after a tackle, or does somebody, after they make a play, do they get up and inform you how great of a play it was? Take us through a couple of conversations that maybe you're familiar with.
It could be any time. You could get blocked. You're going to hear something. You miss a tackle, you'll hear something. You make a tackle, you can say something, but, you got to move on to the next play.
When you make 19 tackles, can you say something?
Coach 2 says not to trash talk, so I try my best not to. Sometimes it happens, but I try to focus on the game for the most part.
Is there a team that you play that trash talks more than Jacksonville State does?
Probably not, but it makes it fun. So
I was going to say, does I mean, if you're a competitor, doesn't that just amp things up for you or your teammates when there is a little conversation going on?
Oh, yeah, it makes it personal sometimes, so it's pretty fun.
All right, you look around the Ohio Valley Conference, Jacksonville State, they got beat pretty handily at Southeastern Louisiana. If you're a championship caliber program like them, I'm sure, they are really going to come and have some hard practices and get focused. What's it like in practice when you're in a game week following a win versus following a loss? Are they different types of practices?
I feel like the energy is different, but coming off a win, you have a lot more confidence. So still doesn't affect how we practice or how hard we go. So we're still pushing to get better and, looking forward to the next game.
So you are obviously a leader with what you do on the field, just with your performance. You're over 300 career tackles now. You're a national award winner. How much do you feel it's your responsibility to be a team leader, not just what you do on the field, but to be maybe a vocal leader, to take a leadership role and have the coaches ask you, hey, we want you to be a team leader?
Someone who has helped me with it is Devin Alexander. He's my other inside linebacker. We've had the talk long before and all this happened, and we knew it was going to happen one day. So he just told me, you're going to have to step up and be a vocal leader more than just actions. So that really helped me and pushed me to do that.
How good is it to have that guy back? Because we mentioned it, started his career at Toledo, was expected to be a huge leader on the team last year as a senior, breaks his foot. Obviously disappointment sets in, not only with him. I mean, he's got the extreme disappointment, but his teammates, because you know what kind of an impact he can make. How good is it to have him back on the field helping you guys on defense?
It's great. He brings a lot of energy. He brings a certain toughness to the team and to the defense. He's a great leader, and, he holds everybody accountable.
Now, he is from St. Louis. There is a world championship boxer named Devin Alexander who is from St. Louis. Has he ever mentioned that?
I don't think he has, but I'm surprised he doesn't know that.
Yeah, he probably does. He's not a world champion anymore, but he was a world champion. I think he's still fighting, but he might be a little past his absolute physical prime. But yeah, there is a St. Louis Devin Alexander boxing champion. When you look at the way that you game plan for SIU, you can game plan for certain teams because maybe it's week 6 and you've seen their previous 5 games. For SIU, boy, it's a different quarterback. I know they're doing different things on defense because of a new defensive coordinator. How much did they run things that you game plan for, and how much did you see, we really didn't see that on film?
We've been watching a lot of films since probably January on SIU. So, we felt like we had a good beat on them and what they would do. They showed us some new stuff, but only a couple of things. We watched a lot of film, so they made sure of that. So I felt like we were pretty prepared as a defense.
DJ Davis, really good running back for them. He's not a big guy, 5'8", 170, but talk about playing against him. Does he run bigger and stronger than 5'8", 170?
Yeah, he's a good player. He got a lot better from last year to this year for sure. He's a good competitor, and I feel like he's a good dude. But he's a good runner, strong runner, and tough runner.
I tell you one thing, I was impressed with the defense. You really contained Stone Labanowitz, their quarterback. When he tried to get outside the pocket and run, he could not run. I mean, you guys absolutely stuffed him. What don't you think that was one of the keys to kind of slowing their offense down?
Yeah, Coach Sy came up with a great game plan to keep him in the pocket, really, and force him to make throws.
You had 15 tackles at halftime in the football game. How exhausting is that? I mean, at halftime, you've got 15 tackles at halftime. Do you ever feel it when you go into the locker room at halftime and say, man, I'm going to have to catch my second wind?
I have to take a breathing treatment before I go out, so that helps. But I knew it was a lot, but just don't think about it, really. Just playing the game. It's fun, making plays, so just go out there and keep doing it.
How big was that play where Justin Swift gets his hand up, the ball gets tipped, Marcus Lucas makes the interception because it looked like they were going in for a touchdown?
Yeah, it was a huge play. Like you said earlier, I feel like it's the play of the game. brought a lot of energy to our sideline and to our offense. So,
how about when Marcus Lucas came to SEMO? It seemed like he made an immediate impact. He had interceptions in each of his first 2 games last year. Boy, he really was a big addition to this team. He's a playmaker, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a playmaker in the run and pass. It's the thing I like most about him. You know, he's versatile. He can come down and stop the run, but he can also affect the passing game.
How much confidence does it give the rest of the team on defense when you know that you've got veteran athletes in the defensive backfield, the secondary, you can have confidence in, whereas if you're going up to make a play, to know that you've got guys that are real veterans in that defensive secondary?
Yeah, there's a lot of trust in our defense as a whole. We played pretty much the same people as last year, so a lot of experience out there and a lot of trust.
How about Montana State? I know you have watched a little video on them. What are your thoughts? I know you haven't seen a lot, and you'll see a lot more leading up to game time, but what are your initial thoughts on Montana State?
They're a good team, big offensive line from a defensive perspective. They run the ball a lot, and they have some good runners, so it should be a fun week for us.
All right, Bozeman, Montana. You ever been to Montana?
No, sir, but I'm looking forward to it.
I bet you'd never been to Utah either before last year.
Nope, but that was a good experience, so hoping to make a better one out of this one.
How many times have you flown in a plane prior to the playoff game last year?
One before.
One.
Yep.
Anybody on the team that you remember from going out to Utah, anybody that gets a little squeamish on the plane that had to be close to the vomit bag?
Some people were kind of freaking out, but they just closed their eyes and acted like they were sleeping. But some people were freaking out before. I think they kind of try to play it cool.
Fear of flying is a real thing. I mean, I don't care how big and bad you are. I mean, it's a real thing, right?
Yeah, my first time was kind of rough, but, I mean, I live, so I'm good.
So the new wrinkle at Houck Stadium, after touchdowns, fireworks at Houck. First of all, how surprised were you when the fireworks went off, and what did the players think of the fireworks now when the Red Hawks score points?
I was surprised, but I felt like, I mean, they loved them. Everybody loved them. I think they were a good idea and a good addition to, enjoy the game and make fun out of it.
All right, we also need to know, what about this pathetic turnover poll?
I haven't got to use it yet, but I heard some things about it. But I think it's a good idea. Keep things fun and a reason to turn the ball over.
All right, now, I think I saw after Daniel Santa Catarina scored a touchdown, they put some chain around his neck?
Sign-off chain.
What is it?
The sign-off chain.
The sign-off chain, all right. So as you get ready to head out to Montana State, what is the mood of the team? I mean, you're one of the team leaders. What is the mood of the team going forward here? You're up to number 12 in the rankings. That's just a number. It means nothing unless you go out there and continue to win football games, and I know that's your focus. It's nice for the players and the media to talk about, hey, they're ranked 12th in the nation. But what's the mood of the team following a big win like that in front of a huge fan base? You would think, man, they had a fun time. You'd think most of them are going to come back and see another game.
I just feel like we're hungry. We know there's a lot to take off the film from Thursday. There's a lot of areas we can get better at and a lot of things we need to do better to win this week. So I feel like we're a hungry team, and we're just looking to get better.
Did you compare your football ring with your girlfriend's softball championship ring? Did you go side by side with the rings?
I told her I didn't want to look at it, so I wasn't. It was OVC ring, so not until I get one. So.
Okay. So it's kind of like the hockey players. No hockey player will touch the Stanley Cup unless they win it. If they have not won the cup, they can look at the cup, but a hockey player will not touch the cup unless they win it. Kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, something like that. I don't even want to see it, though.
We'll be flying out to Montana on Friday. It'll be a Saturday night game, and 19 more tackles would look awfully nice. I know that's a high standard you set for yourself. We appreciate so much the time, and we'll see you in Montana on Saturday.
Appreciate it.
All right. That's Zach Hall, National Defensive Player of the Year, the Buck Buchanan Award winner. We'll take a timeout. Back to talk Bobcat football with Coach Tuke when we return. It's the Coaches Show at Wings Etc. on SEMO ESPN.
Having a game on the TV make a sports bar? Wings, etc. in Cape and Jackson beg to differ. They take their sports bar status seriously. Wings, etc. is the host of the SEMO Coaches Show every Monday from noon to 1. You can watch SEMO away games at Wings, etc. Plus, get lunch specials and daily specials like 69-cent wings on Monday, 69-cent rib tips on Tuesday, 59-cent shrimp on Wednesday, and 69-cent boneless wings on Thursday. Plus, they've got free Wi-Fi and a full-service bar and craft beer. Wings, etc. The definition of a sports bar.
Do you, EBO?
I want better health care.
That's an advantage of EBO-MD.
But I also want to save money.
Another advantage of EBO-MD.
What about my kids?
Kids are only $10 a month with an adult membership with EBO-MD.
I want my kids seen right away if they're sick.
Another advantage of EBO-MD.
I want to pay less for medications and lab work.
Another advantage of EBO-MD.
And I don't want to have to pay a copay.
Another advantage of EBO-MD. It just makes sense. Switch to EBO-MD and save. Primary health care you can afford. The staff at EBO-MD is friendly, and you get same-day appointments. Call today at 573-803-2941. Again, call today at 573-803-2941 or online at doyouebo.com.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
It'll be dry heading through this Labor Day with some sunshine and a high temperature eventually around 88 degrees as the light breeze continues out of the north and northeast. Clear into the evening, some areas of fog will be possible again overnight with the low dropping to 65. Sunny and warmer tomorrow, the high near 90, then cooler Wednesday and Thursday with sunshine and highs in the low to mid 80s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Jeff Marr.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Greenberg for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
Final segment with Coach Tom Atukowicz. The Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings, etc. in Cape will be in the Jackson location next week, so I hope you'll join us there. 12 noon in Jackson. The Red Hawks will be back from Montana. They'll be flying into Bozeman, Montana to play Montana State, a ranked team. This is a really big football program, Coach. I mean, this actually, even though it's an FCS opponent, it's a money game for your football program.
Yeah, people don't realize, even though they're just like us, they're paying us $225,000 to play them. And so, obviously, they scheduled that game not knowing that we're going to be in the top 25. But that's the kind of program we're going to.
A nationally ranked team, a playoff caliber team as well. And so as you get ready to fly out there, the one good thing about it being a money game, this is a charter. This is just like what you had when we went to Weber State last year for the playoff game.
This really is like a playoff game. You know, both programs were second-round teams last year. And so very similar to when we flew out to Weber State. And so this is what it's all about, man. Let's go have a blast. You know, they're going to be favored, and I'm sure people think they're going to beat the Red Hawks. So let's go find out.
Is this a really good experience for your football team? I mean, because you plan on making the playoffs, and if you make the playoffs and you go deep enough, you're going to be playing on the road.
Exactly.
You're probably going to be flying somewhere in the playoffs. I mean, is this a really good experience for your guys? For sure. Because a lot of the guys are back and were on that charter flight out to Utah last year.
Yeah, and really it's about the OVC. You know, we got to go to Austin Peay and to Jacksonville State. If we want to win the OVC, we got to play well on the road. We played well at home for a while, and so, you know, we got to be able to load up, not only play them, but play their fan and their atmosphere.
Southeastern Louisiana, a team that was ranked third in the nation a few years back when you beat them. Paul McRoberts caught the game-winning touchdown in the final seconds on a broken foot. So they were ranked third then. Well, they're not at that elite stage anymore. They play in the Southland Conference. They were picked to finish seventh, and they waxed Jacksonville State 35-14. Did that raise your eyebrows a little bit when you looked at that score?
Yeah, that was very surprising. That's the thing about it. You know, no one really knows until you get about 3 to 4 games into this thing. You know, you don't really know what kind of team you have. You may think you know, and people – you know, they got ranked based on what they did last year and who they got coming back, and And so they were ranked very high because of that. But like I tell everybody, you can't win without good players, but you can lose with them. And so you got to do a great job. Your culture's got to be great. And you got to be just like Zach. You got to be humble and hungry. And make sure your focus are on the things that it needs to be focused on.
So I guess there were a couple of highlights in my mind, aside from you knocking off SIU, the way that you did, dominant fashion, 30 consecutive points at one stretch, Jacksonville State losing, and then Tennessee Tech at home down 23 points, comes back to beat Samford 59-58 in double overtime. What a game that must have been.
Exactly right. I mean, that's crazy. And Samford is a great football team. I mean, they've been in the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 or 4 years, I believe. And so that's a huge win. I know Coach. I know he's doing it the right way, and that's going to give them some of that confidence that they need going in. And I think it also talks about our conference. Like, the OVC is not your daddy's OVC. Like, we are a good football conference, and so, it's going to be tough.
I'm telling you, you go to the preseason poll, everyone's picking Tennessee Tech to finish last because, they just had a tough year last year. And so they come out of the gate and beat a perennial playoff team.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, who knows? That's why it's so fun. And, I think there's a lot of really good coaches in this league.
And also, we'll just point it out because in 2 weeks you're playing at Missouri. They got beat on the road at Wyoming.
Yeah, I DVR'd that game and watched it. Man, that make you sick. I mean, it really is. And I'm sure they were the better football team, on paper. But that's why you play the game, and you don't think home field matters?
It matters.
It matters a lot. And so that's why we got to – we got to play well to even have a chance to win this Saturday. Because on the road, I mean, it's just tough. I mean, a team from the SEC could lose to Wyoming. And it wasn't like Wyoming's a bad football team, but you can't tell me that home field didn't make a big difference in that game. I watched it. I know it did. And then, obviously, you can't turn it over like that.
Yeah, I know Kelly Bryant threw for a career high over 400 yards, but a couple of turnovers. And, that's the thing that you are always talking about. Is turnovers, and it just flat out decides football games.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah, got to be the ball is so important. They named a game after it.
So I don't know how many matchups around the country this year or this week will feature 2 teams in the top 15, but you'll have one. I think Montana State at 14 in the last ranking. You're number 12. This may be one of the premier FCS games, nationally. People are probably going to be looking at this, 2 top 15 programs.
Yeah, I'm happy for the university. I really am. Like, we're in a spotlight. When they talk about SEMO football, they're talking about SEMO. They're talking about Cape Girardeau and Cape County, and they're talking about us, not the team. They're talking about us and what we're committed to do around here. And so let's go, and it's a business trip. We're not going out there to sightsee. We're going out there to get a dub.
What'd you think of the fireworks after the touchdowns?
I didn't realize it. My wife told me that night how awesome it was. So I thought some stuff was going off, but hell, I thought that was the moose knuckles. I didn't even know that there was actually some stuff going on, but my wife was a fan. I'll look for him now.
All right. Coach, we appreciate so much the time. I know you've got it may be a holiday, but it's never a holiday in football season for college football coach. We'll see you Friday as we get ready to head out to Montana. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Good luck against the Bobcats.
Appreciate it.
That's Coach Tuke. That's going to do it. We thank Zach Hall for joining us, the Red Hawks All-American linebacker. And don't forget, 7 o'clock Central Time. It'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff Central Time. It's 6 o'clock Mountain Time locally there in Bozeman, but it will be a 7 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, Red Hawks and the Montana State Bobcats. That's going to do it. Thanks to Mike Rennick and our engineer, Dean Field here. Thanks to Coach Tuke and to Zach Hall. We'll get you back into ESPN radio programming. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day, everybody. And don't forget, we're in Jackson next Monday for the Red Hawks Coaches Show. So long.